In this video, I want to talk to you about Sentinel values and getting input from the user to control whether or not a loop continues. So you can see in this code, I've set up the import because I'm going to use the scanner. Inside the main method, I've set up my scanner object. Ooh, my indentation needs help. Just a second. There we go. I've set up the scanner here at line 6. I'm prompting the user at line 7, do you want to play a game? Now notice I've got YN after this. I probably need a space because I want the user to type in yes or no. Then I have to capture that input. I'm going to store it in a string. Now, you should have some kind of name that describes what you're going to do with this variable, and I'm going to use this to control whether or not I should continue a loop. And then I'm going to set that equal to in.next to get that string. But look at what happens to continue. Why is it blue? Continue is a keyword, and I cannot use it as a variable name, so I'm just going to name this play. Now, when you say in.next, what's captured is the next string that the user types. So then you can use that as your loop control variable. So we want to say play.equals y. And while play.equals y, we're going to play our game, whatever it is. I'm going to have to prompt the user inside that loop to get that input again. So in this case, I'm just going to keep prompting them to do you want to play a game? Do you want to play a game? Now note that play is underscored in red because I've already declared it, so I get rid of the word string. I've deliberately set it up this way so hopefully to demonstrate some issues we're going to have when we run it. So if we run this program and it says, do you want to play a game? Now, first issue is just stylistic. That means how can we make it look better? And I want it to be a little bit separated from that Java C and Java class path stuff that is put there. So I'm going to add a \n right there. And it says, do you want to play a game? Well, yes, I do want to play a game. And now my program's over. In fact, I should add something here to say, thank you for playing, system.out.println, and I'll start with a \n. Oopsies. Thank you for playing. Now, note when you forget the double quotes, as I did when I typed this up, that it makes it a little tricky sometimes to add them back in. Let's see what happens when I add this. See, repl.it will add 2 double quotes when you really only intend to have one. So you delete the first one and it deletes the second one. It's like, oh my gosh, this is maddening. When it adds 2 quotes like that and you only want one, delete the second one and it will leave the first one behind. So I'm going to run this program one more time and I say, yes, I want to play a game, and it says, thank you for playing. Why? Because I entered a lowercase y and it's testing for an uppercase y. There is an equals method that you can use that's called equals ignore case. An equals ignore case will test it for y, whether or not the user typed it in upper or lowercase. This is a really good idea because you want to allow some grace for your user to make a mistake. So let's click run again. Do you want to play a game? Yes, I do. And now it's prompting me, do you want to play a game? Do you want to play a game? And you can see that it's working. This, now I'm going to say no, and it says thank you for playing. This loop is called a Sentinel controlled loop because it's controlled based on some user input, and my Sentinel is whether or not the user enters Y. Other loops that we've used in class, like for the Christmas tree, those are count controlled loops because they loop a specific number of times. One other thing you might encounter having trouble with is if you prompt the user to input an integer. Let's say we want to prompt the user to enter your favorite number. And then we get an integer here, int num equals in.next int. And let's run this and see what happens. Do you want to, oh, hang on. Sorry, yeah. Oops, system.out.print. There we go, let's try again. Do you want to play a game? Yes, I do. Enter your favorite number, 6. And it says, do you want to play? Oh, that was right. That's what I wanted. What I'm trying to demo here that I have inexpertly done is that there are times when you will need to flush the buffer. So there are times when you will get something in the, hang on, let's enter n and see what happens. Yeah. You may encounter in your next assignment where you have something stuck in your buffer, meaning that after you get an integer, if you want to get a string, you've got to clear out that enter key that the user has typed in there. So if you ever are not able to have your string read, you can flush the buffer by saying in.next line, just on a line all by itself, and that'll get rid of anything that's lurking around in that input buffer, that place where keystrokes get typed and are not yet captured by the code. So you might need that in your program assignment. I'm unable to demo the error right here, but just keep that in mind. Hang on, line, let me add that back. Flush the buffer. So to recap, this program uses a Sentinel controlled loop. We prompt the user. This prompt up here that we capturing input up here is called a priming read. We need to get some value before we test that value. We can't test it before we get that value from the user. So that's our priming read right up here. We're using a Sentinel controlled value, meaning the user is going to enter something that's going to cause the program to keep running or not, just the same way you'll need to do in your guessing game. I hope you have found this helpful.